Are we live? Are we live?
Checking.
Checking.
Yep,
Checking. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the kitchen. I'm in here twice because I have a something I need to test. So I figured since this is the test kitchen, you know, we might want to do that there. Is this on my screen? I have so many windows open, I can't even tell what's how. Yes, it is. Okay. All right.
Can I ask? I was hearing some weird audio.
Yes, that's because I'm in here
That's
twice.
You. Okay.
And I'll explain why. And go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say we're hearing a lot of background noise too.
Well, I'm sorry. It's the end of the school day. I don't know what to tell you.
No,
Here, I'll mute myself.
Understood. I'm just saying. No.
Yeah. So yeah. So I wanted to test something, but let's say hi first. Hey, Mike.
Hello, David. Good to see everybody in the kitchen, and we'll see what 6.1 has done. I know I've seen a couple of things already in the settings in Windows, so I'm curious to see if that's the same in Mac as well. So
I haven't noticed anything that's jumped out at me yet, but we'll definitely look through it.
Yeah, I definitely saw it at minimum the what I ended up seeing before we started was that the touch up my appearance or just the low light has moved to the backgrounds and effects section.
Oh yeah, they said they were combining all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, we'll take a look at that. Hey, Frank.
Good day, good day.
How are you?
Congratulations on your wonderful ZoomOSC tutorial you gave the other day.
It was okay. It was okay. I'm very much a one-trick pony. Like, I know how to do one thing with ZoomOSC and Companion. That's it. But what I do works for me, so I'll take it. Thank you. It was fun, though. It was fun. That was the first time I'd ever been. I mean, I guess I've attended Zoom events. Well, yeah, because I've attended Zoomtopia. I've never, not run one, but been in a position of speaking, and it was no different than anything else. Except I will say, I wish, and this is probably just me not knowing how to do it, but I couldn't figure out how to just join from the client. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So the only way that I could figure out how to join was I clicked on the events link, which opened up a browser. I then said join, and then it went into the client. So I don't know if I'm missing something, or of course I didn't look at my calendar. That probably would have been smart if I'd looked at like meetings, because I keep it minimized. Oh well. In any case, hey James.
Sorry, I was not trigger happy on the.
Come on, gotta be quick. Gotta be quick.
But I was expecting to be last.
You're never last in my book, James.
Oh.
Look at me. I'm sweating. I'm glistening. Can you see this? Look at this. I'm like, I just looked at myself and I'm like dripping.
You need a little powder up there.
Yeah, Alex suggests a certain thing, and you put that.
Yes. Or don't go outside in 100-degree weather. One of the two.
Oh, it's really hot in your other areas.
It's kind of hot. Let's see. I actually don't know what what's the weather down here. Let's see.
It's not hot here, so that's.
What's the weather? It's 89. 89. It's actually not bad today. 89 degrees is okay. And
sorry,
who?
Robert.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
It's good to see you.
I really enjoyed the eCam session last week, David. Thank you very much for organizing that.
Yeah, so the eCam team, by the way, the developer and the marketing director completely forgot to come. And she messaged me right afterwards, just so apologetic. She felt awful. But we had Doc here and we had Andy here. And
she felt so bad, she made the discounts even higher.
That's right.
I'll be looking forward to that.
But I must admit, I was sort of stubborn asking my question about use cases because I'm not an eCam user. So for an eCam user who has a new function or feature, it's obvious. Yeah. For a non-eCam user, I was struggling to understand what I could do with it.
Well, I would actually say, Robert, that it's very much not obvious in this particular case. And that's one of the things I wanted to test out today, actually, is because I think a lot of folks are trying to use it in the wrong way. They're trying. Let me just finish by saying hello to Jason, hello to Hasmuk, and we see Coffee and a big M. We don't see your faces, but we love seeing you here. So thank you for being here. So maybe I'll just get this out of the way. I'll jump in. So what a lot of people are trying to do, and this is not an eCam thing, this is true for any of these platforms, is they're trying to, so we're in a meeting. So I'm going to grab Mike's, oh, that was weird. Oh, I see what happened. Hold on. Leave computer audio. That's interesting that just joined like that, huh? David Pasca is asking permission. Hold on, sorry. This is the strangest thing. Okay, so what people are trying to do is grab a Zoom guest, say, from the meeting that we're in, produce it in eCam or anywhere else, and then put it right back into this meeting and then just spotlight it, right? Like this. But as we talked about last week, the problem is there's going to be that quarter of a second of sync issues. So the question is, so how do we do this then? So my first thought was, and some of you are following me over on Discord, my first thought was, well, we log into one meeting on, we log into one meeting where the talent is, and then with the eCam for Zoom client, and then with the vanilla client, we log into another meeting where the audience is on the same computer. And then you just use the virtual camera, you produce it all in that first meeting, then you use the virtual camera and the virtual mic to send it into the second meeting. That works, I think, except that what I discovered is that while you can join two different meetings simultaneously, number one, it has to be turned on by Zoom in the back end, which I reached out to them and they did right away for me. But number two, that only works in a business, enterprise, or education plan. So that cuts out 99% of the folks that are wanting to do this. So what I thought I wanted to try today was to have eCam for Zoom in this meeting and my vanilla client in this meeting. I'd like to put my eCam for Zoom client, in fact, I'm just going to do that now, in a breakout room, along with maybe someone else, and then I'm going to produce a show there and then send it back into this meeting. Did that make any sense? So I'm going to say, let participants choose room. I'm going to create two rooms, and I'm going to call this backstage. Okay. So now don't anyone go anywhere yet. So I'm going to put my eCam for Zoom client in a breakout room. This is so weird. This is, I mean, I honestly don't even know what's what anymore. Okay, so I'm in the breakout room. Now, if I could, I'd like to ask someone to volunteer to go in there and be my talent.
I can go.
Okay, thanks. So I also don't know, by the way, how this whole audio is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and rejoin that computer audio. Okay, so Robert, can you hear me? Okay, and I can hear you. Now, guys in the main room, can you hear him at all? That's fine. Okay, wait. So far, this is working. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a scene. I'm going to, oh, okay. This is interesting. Yeah. But wait a second. So that's okay. So sorry, I need to talk everyone through this. So what I just did is I just tried to grab Robert's camera to build a scene with it. And I got a pop-up that says that Ecamm Live cannot use live streaming capture mode from a breakout room. Do you want to use recording capture mode instead? So I'm going to say yes, because it doesn't matter to me. And now I'm going to, all right, now Robert, say something, and everyone, can you hear him? Okay, wait, hold on. They can't hear you. Oh, I know why. Hold on. It's because I think I need to, yeah. Okay, try it now.
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? This is a sound test. Yay! Well done,
Wait,
David. That's
Mike, can you actually hear him?
All good.
And do you see the sync issue?
Yes.
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 It's still there. That's interesting. I wonder why there's a sync issue still there.
Can you?
issue. There shouldn't be a sync issue between my sound and my lip movement, but there should
There's
be a issue between you, what they can see, and you, what they can see in the produced image.
Yeah, well,
Right.
forget me, because I presumably I wouldn't even be in the show. I'm just the producer on the back end.
right. So what Robert is saying is that we're not
Be a sync issue.
seeing any issue between his sync and his,
Right, hold on,
video
Robert,
and
hold on
sync.
one second. Hold on one second, Robert. So Mike is saying, go ahead, Mike, say it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So again, the sync between Robert's, video and audio is in sync, but where we're getting the sync issue is now with you.
Right. Okay, understood. But that's also interesting. I wonder why you would be getting that sync issue with me. I mean, I'm seeing it too.
You'll have the sync issue.
Oh, because no, I know why.
physically-
I know why. Right. Because my audio is in the main room. You guys are listening to me in the main room. Right. But if I went like this, hold on a second. If I did
As David works out his audio issues because he's still
sorry.
muted.
Sorry. I forgot I was so muted. There must be Ecamm must be doing a mix minus there to not send me out. Let me just see if that's actually the case. No echo cancellation, no. Huh. Okay, but all right. So if I just want to produce talent, if I'm not in the show, this is the way to do it. If I'm in the show, because my audio, I would just have to figure out how to not have my audio be coming through the main Zoom. All right, let's come back out, Robert. This is great. I'll close all the rooms.
David, the only thought that I would have is, can you grab yourself from within the actual breakout room in Ecamm instead of using yourself coming directly in Ecamm?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That's interesting.
So think of it this way.
I can't. And the reason I can't is because I'm only, even though I'm in, let me turn one of these off. I'm sorry. Even though I'm only in, even though it looks like I'm in this meeting twice, I'm actually not. Why is my button not working? I'm actually only in this meeting. My camera is only in this meeting once. It just looks like it's in here twice. I'm not quite sure how to explain that, but like my camera in the breakout room is not a different camera than my camera in the main room. It's almost as if I'm sending one source and it's just splitting it. So it's not as if I can take this source and pump that back into this room, because it's the same source. That was a really interesting exercise though. So
David,
go
where
ahead.
were you physically? Were you in the main room or in the breakout room?
I was in both. I
No,
was in both.
no. You were in one, but sending yourself to the other. So where were you physically?
No, I was in both. So because I'm in here with two clients. So
Ah,
I'm in the breakout room with my Ecamm for Zoom client, and I'm in the main room with my vanilla Zoom client. I'm producing over in Ecamm for Zoom, but then in the main room, I'm just using, in fact, I have to change this back now. In the main room, I'm just using, you can still hear me, right? Yeah. In the main room, I'm just using the virtual audio and the virtual camera from because Ecamm for Zoom can send directly into the breakout room, and that virtual cam and virtual audio are still available to me in vanilla Zoom. So I could still, I'm kind of double dipping is what I'm doing. I can send the same thing into both. But in order for me to do that, I have to be in both places, right? Because I can't send something from the breakout room into the main meeting unless I'm in that main meeting to broadcast it.
Right. And this is where you're saying to actually have a separate meeting then, David.
Yes, but right. And I think that would be,
So you
well, actually, I'm actually not sure that would be any cleaner. Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, as long as it's, a signal flowchart would be handy. I agree, Jason. I mean, the truth is, I'm not sure that it would be easier to have a separate meeting. I mean, it's because again, a breakout room functions essentially like a separate meeting. So I'm not sure there's much of a difference.
I have a question
share
about
my
this.
experience.
Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead, please.
You know, for me, it was like being a panelist in a webinar because I couldn't see the rest of you. So I could only see David.
Right.
So I was totally isolated
Yeah.
from the rest of you guys.
And that's why Production Studio is the only tool that lets you do this without this problem. That I think is my point, is that when you asked about use cases, they're trying to hack this, and it's just not an elegant solution for this. It's very elegant if I'm trying to just bring guests in and put it out on YouTube. It's fantastic for that. But for a meeting, it's really not, unless I were able to, and I certainly could somehow send back. I definitely could. I could send back into the breakout room. I could have another client on another computer in that breakout room, screen scraping the chat and stuff like that. I mean, you wouldn't be able to interact with it, but
That feels like going backwards, though.
I agree.
So here's, I'm not Andy, so I don't understand this the way Andy understands it, but Production Studio is Zoom. Zoom's receiving all of our various signals from each of our individual computers. They could do some magic on the server to say, okay, delay this person, speed that person up in real time.
Right.
Unless any of these other companies ever get access to that through the SDK or the APIs, which I don't know if Zoom would ever do that, but if they did, I think that's the only way they're going to be able to fix this, unless each company builds in some kind of ability to put a video delay. And you showed in Ecamm there is some amount of delay, but is it enough to
but that's
to
only
overcome
on me.
late? Yeah, but does it
Right.
overcome the latency?
Yeah.
But unless Zoom allows all the third parties to get deeper into their servers and have that ability that Zoom has, which is to be able to change each of our arrival and departure times.
Or we should not try and do something that this tool wasn't meant to do. I mean, it may be that we're asking it to, look, we're dealing with physics here. I mean, yes, I understand that Zoom has found a fix for it, but we're asking it to do something that it really wasn't intended. We may have all wanted it to do this, but
Well, I don't know. Physics can be controlled if you understand physics. So I mean, when you're in an audio auditorium, for example, and you've got a speaker array going back, let's say 500
Yeah.
yards or 1,000 yards. Each speaker can be dialed in so that there's a delay, so that the sound arrives at the very last set of speakers at the same time the people at the front of the audience, so that it sounds that way anyways. And we can also put delays on video, but it has to happen at the Zoom servers.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this is impossible to fix, but it might be a big undertaking. But if the third parties could get control, have some interface with Zoom servers that allows their products to operate the same way Zoom Production Studio operates,
Yeah.
then maybe one day they would be able to match Zoom's
Yeah.
correcting of the latencies.
There's
Very
something
interesting.
that Zoom Production Studio doesn't work in meetings.
Yeah, only a
Yeah.
webinar, right?
Only in
Webinars.
webinar,
So,
yeah.
so we actually, I mean, a webinar is like having two separate meetings, isn't it? It's
A webinar is like
exactly-
what you just experienced.
Exactly.
Right.
So, oh, Mike, what has happened to you? So,
Look like hell. Literally.
glad to see you back anyway. So when you use Production Studio, you actually get that additional feed with everything in sync, but it's like it's going from one meeting to another, literally. Yeah.
Is it true though that Production Studio happens on the host's client machine? Like it's all being synchronized at the host client machine and then sent back to Zoom, right?
That's correct.
Yes, and that, to me, that actually is a big issue, because again, now when a lot of stuff is, you would think a lot of stuff is already being taken in the cloud. Now the full bandwidth of all the different inputs, you actually have to take down to that machine, and that machine has to be powerful enough to run the production studio so that you could actually produce the event too. So
But aren't there-
bandwidth and hardware.
But let's get away from Zoom for a second and just talk about telephony or something. Like, aren't there servers that can measure latency and adjust individuals' latency at the server end so that it all balances out when it comes back out? Like, can't the server put in delays, do the math for each individual and say this is the most synchronized we can make it? Like, isn't there some sort of technology that could do that?
In theory, if we are sending back our data from our clients back to the server, then yes. Meaning when we go into the statistics and we can actually see what our latency is, that number could actually be relayed back to the server, or that number is actually already coming from the server.
It's coming from, so the server already knows.
It already knows it. So yes. So in that theory, if the client is figuring it out to the server, then the client has to send it back to the server. But if the server is already sending that information down to the clients, then it already knows the delay.
Like imagine an audio mixer with 12 strips, and you put delay on each strip, and the delays are different on each strip. Couldn't a server do that to, it's not load balancing, but it's kind of like time load balancing in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What you could actually do is you could actually put a buffer in the actual stream that is leaving the server with, 100%. 100%. That's similar to, again, I don't want to get into different protocols, but if you're using SRT, again, this is where the reliability of you actually doing a ping between the server or the end. So where you're sending SRT from to, and you do a ping from your IP to that IP, you do a bit of math, and that's how you figure out the proper SRT buffer that you should actually have in place, because now it takes into consideration the fluctuation. So yeah,
Okay,
there is math out there. Absolutely.
Copyright Frank, time load balancing. Copyright
Time
2024.
load balancing. So as you guys are talking, I'm thinking to myself about some of the times that I may have wanted to use this. And interestingly enough, is I don't think the talent really care about seeing the audience, which I don't understand. In my workflow, that's key. It's actually absolutely key, but I'm thinking of I mean, it just hasn't been terribly important to them. But again,
what about production though and hybrid events?
Yeah.
You know,
Any
you're
others?
you're in a hybrid event and people are up on the big data projector and they're out of sync, or other times they could be out
No,
of sync,
that's a
or in the
huge problem
recording,
for us.
or whatever. Like, I'm
Right.
just
No, but I fixed the sync time flux capacitor.
I think that's already copyrighted. Pretty sure about that one.
Well, no, we solved the sync issue just by throwing Robert in a breakout room. And then I can bring it. That's not a problem.
Yeah, but I feel like that's going backwards. That's going back to the beginning of the pandemic and screen scraping 16 different computers. Like,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to imagine is we all connect with some Zoom client, whatever your Zoom client is. All the signals go to Zoom, and then your client is smart enough to talk to Zoom and say, hey, this person needs to be adjusted by this many microseconds, that person by that many, so that we all arrive at the same, with the latency all balanced out somehow.
Are there
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say too, and it actually shocked me when I actually initially was hearing about the production studio feature. It actually shocked me that it actually is actually built into the local client. It didn't make any sense to me. The only thing that was making sense to me is that production studio is you are actually going into a web interface in the cloud to actually do this. So it'd be equivalent to vMix in the cloud, or OBS in the cloud, or even Ecamm in the cloud. That would make more sense to me about production studio being there, because it's within their servers. And then at that particular point, the delay disappears because you're there. It's one hop or two hop in network terminology.
There's an engineer somewhere right now hitting their head on the desk saying these guys are a bunch of idiots.
There's got to be a way for AI to be able to recognize syllables that we're saying, match that to audio, and there's got to be a way for that to exist.
The server already knows your latency because it gives it back to you as statistics. So it knows your latency is this, that my latency is that, his latency is something else, and it also knows time of arrival. So, I mean, it may be complex, but I don't think it's impossible.
Right. And on top of that too, if we're already in sync as a source, then we should still be in sync as an output, right? So your input is already in sync.
But so the problem with the way I think we're thinking about this is that, Frank, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about making sure that you are in sync with me and there's no latency between us. But the problem that we have here is not sync between you and me, it's sync between me and me. It's sync between my audio and my video.
Yeah, but we deal with that as well. I mean, in video production, usually the audio arrives first and you can delay the audio. So I mean, that's been done for years.
Right.
And so in the ATEMs that's done now too. And that's what I'm doing, as a matter of fact, for myself.
So you guys are saying something's coming back, and I don't think anything's coming back. I think everything's done on the server because of other kinds of things so the production studio, you might be producing something on your computer, but you're not taking that source from the person's computer and bringing it back to the server. You are just saying that feed that's on the server already, I want you to do this to it. And so that way you don't have to worry about those latencies, because all those are
in
happening
production
right
studio you mean?
Yeah.
Which is right. And so that's why it's not the same for us, because what we are doing, we are adding a second hop, right? When we're not using production studio.
Well, are we always? Because there's a lot of these things where I know, like Zoom ISO, I mean, like you're still like, I don't think something's going back just because, well, I don't know.
No, I think you're onto something there. I think what I'm saying is more like the server should send telemetry to the client, to your local client, like on your computer, and say, delay your video by 3 milliseconds or 0.1 milliseconds. So it would still be happening at the source, but the server would be coordinating all the different clients and telling them, you need to speed up, you need to slow down. You're just, I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but I figure there's a way. Like eventually there'll be a way. It'll get better.
Jason needs a job, everyone, because he is spending his entire afternoon coming up with new names. We've got the time flux capacitor. We've got the in sync time capacitor. Got to get Jason busy.
And
all right.
as long as he doesn't do any copyright issues on the in-sync part, we're fine too.
Oh, he's doing a job now. Fantastic. We're not a distraction at all. All right. Well, I'm going to jump out of this meeting from this client. So now I'm just in the main client. All right.
All right. Press record. Let's start. That was all preamble to the real meeting.
All right. I am going to try, wait a second, Shift, Command,
Oh, we
Y.
might lose David.
No, I'm trying the new shortcuts.
Oh, okay, good.
For
I'm looking at
emojis?
the release notes. Yeah.
For reactions or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Shift, Command, wait, Option,
But you're
Command,
are you in the eCam client? Maybe
No,
it doesn't.
I'm in the vanilla client.
Oh, okay, you're in the vanilla.
Yeah. It's not working for me. So what we're talking about, maybe you do have to turn them on?
Maybe it's a Windows thing. Mike, try it.
No, it says it for everyone.
Did you update your Zoom client?
Yes, always. God forbid. Let's see. Activate the emojis, hand gestures, no. Animate these emojis, no. Huh. Let's see. Are any of these? Do these even work? Let me just put some balloons up. Did my balloons? Okay, there are my balloons. So now, how do I get balloons? Where? Oh, there are no balloons. Mac. What we're talking about? Sorry. Let me share. Don't keep it to myself. So we're talking about 6 point. What are we on? 6.1 point something. 6.0.1.
Yeah, 6.1.
1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.1.0. So what we're talking about is some of the new stuff that just came out this past week, Monday, I think. It's these keyboard shortcuts for in-meeting reactions. Users that rely on oh, it's under accessibility, maybe. Maybe you have to turn it under accessibility. Let's see. Users that rely on accessibility face challenges in accessing in-meeting reactions due to the extensive tabbing required. To address this, new keyboard shortcuts will be introduced to enable quicker and more efficient submission of reactions, facilitating timely and appropriate participation in call and response or voting activities. Yada, yada, yada. But how do you turn it on? I don't see anywhere to turn it on, and it does not seem to be working for me. Oh, wait a second. Option, Command 9. Oh, it worked. Okay, Option Command 9. Oh, mine are different than what it says. That's interesting. So here, let me.
David, there is a restore defaults if you want.
No, I don't want to. I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want to mess anything up. So here are mine. Send me to reaction. Celebrate. Ta-da. Is I map my command and my control keys differently, so I always have to. It's like translating from Hebrew. All right. So there's the celebrate one. 8 is the mouth. 7 is haha joy joy. 6 is love heart. Oh, this is fun. 5 is thumbs up. 4 is wait clapping. And that's it.
You have 4 stream decks. Just program them to some of your
I
buttons.
know, that's what I need to do.
Get your money's worth. Come on now.
Open meetings reaction panel is Control Shift Y.
Yeah, I tried that. It worked.
Yeah.
Mine didn't work.
For Windows, it is Alt Shift and then the number.
Right. I think it is working for me. I think I was just pressing the wrong
I
buttons.
think I'll never use this.
Really?
Yeah, and I can't see why it's would be faster, because for you to put in your mind that 9 is a celebration and 8 is a clapper.
Some people
Whatever.
are keyboard junkies, though. They love, they do everything. They don't like taking their hands off the keys, right?
Right,
But-
but I mean, I certainly see it as mapping it to a Stream Deck or something, but I can't imagine. But then again, I don't understand V.
There's so many ways people compute. Everyone computes a little differently.
I am so confused at what is happening right now. Wait a second. There we go.
You made the phone ring with Zoom. How'd you do that?
No, my Zoom phone ring.
Control Alt Delete.
No, option. Is that option? Option. Oh, you know what it is? Interesting. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry. I kept pressing the buttons and nothing was happening. The reason nothing was happening is that these don't work unless Zoom is the active application.
Wow.
And there's no way to make them global shortcuts. So
Interesting.
even if I did map them to Stream Deck buttons, unless Zoom is active, it ain't going to do bupkis.
That's a technical term, right?
Bupkis, yes, it is. That's a shame. I was kind of excited about that. Okay.
Laura Thompson has a question from YouTube.
Laura Thompson. Wait a second. Mike, you want to read her question? You're making me do all the work. Get to work.
Sure. Actually, she just put in another one too, where she was actually saying most people, and this is actually additional to what she actually just said. So I'll read the first one first. Because people who can't see all the tabbing takes forever to get into focus at the right spot in the Zoom client, memorizing shortcuts is what we do.
Is that so? When we say tabbing, do we? And please forgive my ignorance, but do you tab through the effects? Is that how it works? Like that's how the accessibility works?
You tab through the interface.
You tab through the interface, and so if you want to get to the heart, which is all the way on this side, you have to tap. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, and also she said most people who are legally blind don't own a Stream Deck, obviously. Yeah. And remember, this is designed first as an accessibility feature.
Yeah, I was just joking though, because I attended something with David this week and he showed a screenshot of his huge collection of Stream Decks. So it was just more of a joke. Sorry.
Wait. Now I have a dedicated camera to show my stream.
Oh, and you don't forget you have a Zoom Stream Deck pedal and probably some other things we don't know about.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Although, Laura, and again, please forgive my ignorance here, but it actually seems to me like a Stream Deck would be a good tool for someone who is sight impaired because it's so tactile. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right. I'll come back with my answer of depending on how much they can see, David, would be and what they could see.
Yeah, is there a Braille Stream Deck out there? Like,
well, you could certainly put dots on the.
Doesn't come from the factory like that.
No, it doesn't. But I use it without. I use it without looking, because I just know where the. If look on the 32, it's harder. But if you've got a 15 key or even a 6 key, you can just memorize what button does what, and you just rest your hand on it and go to town.
Yeah, but
you could put
Stream Deck all your life, David.
Say again?
It's like you've been using the Stream Deck all your life. It's like second instinct for you. It's pretty difficult to learn the Stream Deck, especially when you have the changing pages. You don't know where you are unless you have a visual.
That's fair. No, you're right. That's fair.
With a keyboard, it's much easier. I was going to say people with accessibility issues find a keyboard much easier because they know the keyboard.
Right.
It's very easy to do Control Alt Y Control. That's why I think Laura is mentioning that they just learn them off by heart.
Yeah. She says you're literally tapping on the tab to move from item to item inside the interface. You tab through where it starts on your microphone. Depending upon where you are, you can actually have to go the entire way through the interface to even find the reactions, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Let's see. What else? So we got that. Okay. Change local recordings label to computer recordings for clarity. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what's interesting? I actually saw that. Wow, I didn't even think about that. I saw that on the back end. When you go into your account, let me just log in here. You go to recordings. Yeah, I saw it right up here. I saw it the other day. I didn't, cloud recordings and computer recordings. Interesting.
They're doing that with a bunch of things. One of the ones recently was they no longer call these clients, they call them applications.
Right.
I think they're trying to make it easier for non-IT people to know what you're talking about. Local recording. What the heck is a local recording? I don't know.
Right.
So I think they're trying to make the vocabulary a little more accessible for non-techie people.
Which I think makes
I'm
sense.
going to be a little bit more optimistic and put the pressure on Zoom and say maybe they're allowing the host to do local recordings on all of the local computers and then download them so that you get, as a production person, really good quality recordings.
Double-ended recording, right?
That
Yeah,
was promised last year at Zoomtopia, and it still hasn't shown up.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. That's what, what's the, not Stream, is it, no, not Stream, Riverside does that, doesn't it?
Riverside does that,
Yeah,
yeah.
Riverside.fm, where essentially it's, I believe it's called double-ended recording, where everyone gets their own local record, but then somehow the host has access to what they're like automatically uploaded or something.
Yeah, that's correct. But this sort of seems one step to going into that direction. Maybe that's something they
I'm
have
not that
to.
optimistic. I think they're just trying to make the vocabulary a
Yeah,
little
I
more
don't,
accessible.
yeah.
The way they're calling the client, the application now, they don't call it the client anymore. The only reason they would do that is to make it easier for people who aren't super techie to get what you're talking about.
I
When
forgot
I
that
hear
they,
the client, I think of Graham Grisham. So I'm not sure it's all just tech.
I've been on the internet probably, and I'm sure all of you have too, probably since the early 90s when you had to call into a server to do anything and you were the client calling the server. And it's always made sense to me. These are all little micro computer applications calling into the main Zoom server. So it's the client, but for a lot of people, they don't understand what that vocabulary implies, right?
Yeah,
If-
and because we're delayed, Laura's actually gave us two more comments too, David. You might want to take a look in chat if you want, or do you want me to
go
read
for
them?
it, go for it.
Yeah, so Laura was basically saying the problem is a lot of people who are legally blind and blind are not as technical as we are, and have never heard of a Stream Deck, so it'd be a great tool. So that's A. And B, would have to bump that or braille your own labels. So this, I think, was regarding what Frank was talking about with braille, which isn't the end of the world. It's just a matter of they not well known. It's not well known yet to have put braille on actual Stream Decks. So I understand that too. It would actually be smart if Elgato actually did make a braille Stream Deck for that audience as well.
But again, I mean, Elgato doesn't need to do it. Anyone can just make stickers, transparent stickers that you, with bumps that you put on top.
People with visual issues are usually super fast keyboarders, and I don't think they would give up their super fast keyboarding.
Yeah.
Like they get so proficient because that's what they're used to doing, right?
The single best class I ever took was how to touch type. But the single best class I ever, and not the best class as in I enjoyed it the most, but it's been the most helpful to me in my life, is that I can type relatively quickly without looking at the keyboard. It's and who'da thunk, I completely forgot that they talked about double-ended recording at Zoomtopia.
Yeah, and they haven't got there yet, so hopefully.
That would be that would be pretty amazing.
But they're already advertising the next Zoomtopia, so I mean,
yeah.
Is it going to come out before Zoomtopia? It seems like every year a few Zoomtopia promises fall by the wayside,
Sure,
right?
sure. As they probably have to.
My
Um,
feeling is that the double-ended recording is going to be for production people alone because they'll be losing revenue from cloud recording capacity. So it's not something they're going to want to just do for everyone because people
I
will treat.
I think it depends how they implement it. If the recordings are local, but then they end up in the Zoom cloud, and let's say the producer type person or the host can go and collect them all after the meetings. Like imagine you recorded on your end, I recorded on my end, even though they're local recordings. When the meeting ends, both of our local recordings upload to the cloud, and because you're the host, you get access to all of the double ender files. Then you could go and edit them, right?
and
True,
by the way,
very true.
that eats up a lot more of Zoom's
Yeah,
recording space, which means that we're paying more.
more money
Yeah.
for Zoom too, right?
Yeah,
True, because those are ISO recordings.
And there'll be higher quality
Right.
recordings too, right?
right.
True, very true, Frank.
Zoom, we're trying to help you. It's not about us. We don't need double-ended recordings. We care about you.
But that is probably a premium feature. So you know how they seem to reserve the premium features for Zoom events and Zoom webinars, and I don't know how
that actually makes
or
sense.
you need
that it would be
you
in
need, you need
events.
an enterprise or business account or something. I don't think they're going to give that to the general masses unless maybe it's an add-on and it costs you $10 more a month or something.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Multi-share. So the multi-share, we've had multi-share for a while, allows participants to share multiple content items and types simultaneously in a meeting. This capability benefits users by organizing each shared item into tabs. That was new with 6.0, making it easier to follow along with the meeting activities, which I'm not sure I agree with. But the latest enhancement to this feature, participants can be directed to the newest share tab so they stay up to date with the meeting's flow. So let's give this a shot. So I have enabled multiple participants can share simultaneously, and I'm going to go ahead and share something. And then maybe if someone else wants to queue something up to share, what I'm going to share is our brand new landing page and website at zoomtestkitchen.com. Thank you very much, Jeff, for facilitating this so that we can have a little landing page where folks can go to access our meetings and put questions in and good stuff like that. Would someone else like to share something? And then we can kind of see what this looks like. So I wonder if I could share, there we go. Okay, ATEM control software. So let's see how, this is going to be very difficult to actually show people at home. Maybe we can just describe. So what are you guys, what is it looking like on your end with sharing? So we've got Robert's screen. I see two tabs. I've got, no, I don't actually. I guess it has to be someone who's not sharing, right? Someone who's not sharing, what do you see in the tab department?
David, maybe you shouldn't share because you are the host. You will
Okay,
have the
all right, I'll stop
control.
sharing. Sorry.
I
Good
put a
call.
screenshot in the chat if you want to screen share that, David.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I could probably, here, I can, thank you for suggesting that I not share. That was a really smart suggestion. All right, so let me share, do it this way. All right, so here's the client. I'm not sure anyone's going to actually be able to see this because we're screen sharing, but so what I've got in the client is in the top, I've got a meeting tab. Then I've got Robert's screen share, and then I've got Mike's screen share. So now, how does this, participants can be directed to the newest share tab so they stay up to date with the meeting's flow. I'm not exactly sure what that means.
So I'm wondering if that's so like, whatever one's highlighted, or, it's like if a new person shares, then does that, I think that becomes selected.
Maybe that's the one that we can all see. Maybe, does someone else want to try and share, or maybe someone can, Robert, I'm going to actually, Robert, why don't you kill your share and then maybe start it up again if that's okay?
That's
And
okay,
we'll
but Jason has written that you have to tell participants to click on the tab called.
Right, but that doesn't seem to make sense along with this new feature that they just announced. All right, so now no one's sharing, right? Am I correct that everyone just killed the share? Or no, Mike is
Except for
still sharing.
you.
No, I'm not sharing.
Oh,
Oh,
except
this is
Malk
just
is
my,
sharing.
my virtual.
Mike
But
is sharing.
Mike is sharing and I see it. Okay, this is a little, oh no, there it is. Sorry. When you're in dual monitor mode, when you're in dual monitor mode, the first, if there's only one share, that shows up by default in the second monitor. Let me get out of live mode. It shows up, so that's what I'm seeing in my second monitor. Now, if someone else shares, what's going to happen? Okay, so now, interesting.
And did
In my-
Robert and Mike both share again? Or
No, Mike was sharing the whole time and Robert just shared again.
Wow.
So James, what happened to you?
right?
Are
And
you on
so,
dual monitor or single monitor mode?
oh, I don't know.
Do you have two Zoom windows or one?
I only have one, but the other one might actually be on, and I don't know it.
Okay.
Because I have that monitor off. But anyways, I see where it says Robert is kind of the highlighted, and I see Mike's screen. And I didn't see Mike's screen before, and that's why I was confused.
So then I think you're in dual monitor mode because it was there before, but it was on. If you're not looking at that secondary monitor.
Okay, that explains
Yeah.
it.
So in dual monitor mode, what happens is Mike, who started the share first, he stayed on my second monitor. Robert took over my main monitor, my main Zoom monitor. And now interestingly, up at the top of my main monitor, I have three tabs. I've got meeting, which will bring me back to, and this I can actually show, but again, people may not be able to see it, but I've got meeting, I've got Mike's screen share, and I've got Robert's screen share. But interestingly, on my secondary monitor, I only have the two shares as tabs. I don't have meeting as a tab. I'm still not clear on, unless the fact that it automatically changed to Robert share, maybe that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing. I'm on a Mac with two screens, and I don't have the release notes in front of me, but it says something about it'll make it easier to direct people to the right view. How?
To the
I feel
newest share tab, yeah.
I feel like this is gonna, until people are probably gonna like this once they get used to it, but I think there's gonna be a lot of pain before they get used to it.
Yeah.
Right.
If
So
you're-
if it allowed multiple sharing before, maybe it never just updated. And so like I think it just updated. So the last person who shared is now highlighted. I switched back to I did switch to single monitor mode so I could see everything.
The other thing that I find a little surprising is you can't drag the tags, the tabs
Oh, look
into
at that.
a new order.
You're right. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
So does the order of the tabs suggest who screen shared first, or what do the order of the tabs represent?
Well,
Or
in this meeting, it looks like that's what it represents because I've got meeting, Mike, and then Robert, and that's the order in which they shared. So,
All right. And then on my second screen, I've got Mike and Robert.
right.
Jason
Now-
made a comment in the chat that the only challenge here, or the for the host, is that the host doesn't really know which screen share the participants are looking at.
You know what would be nice is just like we have force follow. I'm sorry, what's it called in gallery view? How I can follow host, right? It would be nice to have that for screen share also, so that if I turn that on, when I get to choose what I can have, there can be multiple screen shares up so that I can make sure that everyone has theirs working, and like people don't have to press buttons in the middle of the meeting, follow host order exactly. But that way I could just force the screen share that I want people to see.
I'm going to use my favorite word from last week. What's the use case? Because when we are interpreting, we will provide multiple shares for slides in different languages for participants. But what's the other use case for having multiple shares?
Well, if you have multiple speakers, you know, if I do something for an environmental council up in Montgomery County, and they will have 3 different people from the office speaking. They each have their own slide deck that they want to share, and so
But are they speaking at the same time?
no, they're not. But what I'm saying is, you're right. One can screen share, then it can jump out, then the other can screen share, then it can jump out. Or before the meeting, I can have them all get set up with their screen shares. We know they're all working, and then we just go.
I can think of lots of use cases for this. Imagine interpreters. So one interpreter's screen sharing the slides in Italian, the other screen interpreters sharing in Polish. So I could watch a slideshow in the language of my choice, maybe?
That's exactly what we do. And we've been doing this for a long time, and it works really, really well. I'm looking for other
Education. So if you're a teacher and you're working cooperatively as a class on like on some assignment, the teacher could, I think you can restrict the screen shares to only the host can see multiple screen shares, or you can say that everyone can see everyone's screen share.
You can?
I
Wait,
think
wait,
so.
wait. Where? That's interesting.
Or maybe it hasn't come out yet and I've let something slip.
Anyways, well, are you talking about all screens mode?
I always get those two confused now.
So, wait a second. Let me just show you, because
all
this
right,
is.
show me.
So this is yeah. That's what you're talking about. Okay. So in all screens mode, you'll be able to view multiple share. You know what? Actually, let's kill the shares so that people can actually see this, if that's okay. Thank you, everyone. Sorry about that. So in start all screen. Let me go back up here. So everyone can see. So here's my meeting. Come on, you can do it. There you go. Here's my meeting. If I go down to the little caret next to the share button, and I get start all screens mode, when I click that, I get this pop up. You will be able to view multiple shared screens, me meaning the host, at the same time. Other participants will not be able to view other screens. Participants will be asked to share their screens, and then there is a checkbox, allow participants to view shares. So I think that's what you may have been referring to.
Yeah, so this is a long time ago was called proctoring mode. And the idea was that any screen that's attached to your computer that you're using, the host can see everybody's screen share. So if you have 3 monitors hooked up to your computer, as host, I could go and say, I want to see Jimmy's screen 1, Jimmy's screen 2, and Jimmy's screens 3. And then I can go to Susan or Ophelia or whoever, and you could go and see what they're doing. So you could use it to proctor a test or something to make sure they have an open Wikipedia or Google. But you can also have the option in an all screen share to allow everyone to see everything, which then becomes more like, hey, how's Robert solving this problem? Or what does his picture look like? And, you know, how did Mike draw that picture or build that car or do whatever the assignment is, right? So, but this new one that you were demoing 3 minutes ago, what's the use case besides interpretation? Just I can pick my own adventure and see whoever screen share I want to see.
Well, I think in a meeting, I mean, like, there's a difference in the sense of like a presentation meeting, or we're just all together. And so maybe we're just all together and you have your screen on your terminal window and you're putting some stuff in, and someone else is on another screen, which is the user interface of this application they're building. And so it's all kind of dynamic and we're just all in the same space. But that's more of just kind of like not a presentation meeting, but more of a kind of like we're all together
collaborating,
and we're not necessarily always all talking. And I don't know, because it's not my use case. But maybe that's
I'm
I
afraid
think
to s-
something's yeah, I think something's come to my mind now is if I was had a PowerPoint presentation and I had a whiteboard and I was drawing things on the whiteboard and penciling, I could just say, okay, on the whiteboard you can see this, and now in the presentation this is what I was referring to. So I can sort of duplicates a real live conference facility in that way, where you got a
yeah.
presentation and the whiteboard.
It used to be that the host could share multiple screen shares at the same time by, I think, control clicking. When you clicked on screen share, you could say, out of your available options, you could say share screen two and share, I don't know, an application or something else. But this has become even more, I guess, dynamic.
so. Can I ask a question on the language interpretation area of things? Just because with the multiple screen, I think it's also me working out an issue that. So, Robert, what you're saying is, so during a meeting, um, you will have interpreters who are interpreting live on a screen share, and you're doing the multiple sharing, and you're doing one in Polish and one in English and one in French, for example. And then a person can just choose which screen share for whatever language they want to see pop up.
Yeah. So the way we typically do it is we get the main presenter to present first, so his presentation goes on screen, and then we would load the next languages and then inform the audience that if they want to change to English, then they need to go there. If they want to change to Italian or Polish, they need to go there. And with the clicking, yes, the interpreters are the easiest people to use, just to click the presentation, because physically someone has to follow what the presenter is doing. So someone is re-clicking all of those presentations. One person per each language.
Okay, and let me ask you this, because I'm not clear on this fully. So there's a couple different Zoom language interpretation. There's one which doesn't seem to work well, is that the last person who clicked whatever language they wanted to interpret it into, that's what everyone sees. And there's a different higher level one where each, like, it's a different license thing, if I understand this correctly. So there's a license that says you can have interpreted license or language that's automated. And there's another one that says whatever viewer can choose whatever language they need it in.
Translated captions.
Let me just try and put this into perspective. First, we've got interpretation. In terms of interpretation, we're referring to a human being who is interpreting in real time what someone else is saying. So that's what we call interpretation. But what you're referring to is the captions and the translated captions, like Frank said. And the two things there. You can have a transcript being generated in the language of the speaker. That's one thing Zoom offers. And then you can have translated captions, which means that that transcript is being translated into a language that you select, and then it's visible for you as the user.
But there's the one where we've done this before, where you've like selected Polish, and then everyone sees Polish.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So the last language that's chosen is what everyone gets. So there becomes a fight between the people who want it in Italian and the people who want it in some other language or whatever, right?
Right. But then there's another level of
Tran
licensing you can
Translated
do.
captions. I think you need an Enterprise Plus. They have a new license for Zoom, a new class of licenses. One's called Enterprise Plus, and I think the other one's called Business Plus, or you can buy the translated captions add-on. And the way that works is you can pick your language, and it's done through the server's doing it through automated captions, automatic speech recognition, ASR. And
Yep.
what happens is each user can pick their own language, and it doesn't do the thing you're saying, which is you're picking one language for the whole meeting, and everyone keeps changing it to the one they favor. That's I agree with you, but that's a different issue. But the
So it's a
meeting
different
host can
platform.
lock it to one meeting, to one language. I've hated Zoom's explanation of interpretation, captions, translated captions. They're on a whole bunch of different support pages instead of being in a unified place that explains all the differences together. And I think the names are too similar. And I think Zoom confuses people who aren't doing this every day of the week by having such similar sounding names that do sort of similar things, but quite different end results. So Robert, I think, is explaining it really well, and he should probably continue to talk about it more than me.
Yeah, Frank, if you really want to go to get confused, try doing this on Microsoft Teams.
Oh, really? Yeah, that hard? Yeah, I haven't tried it.
It's there's accessibility, there's translations, there are two different sort of sections that you need to look at for the different types of tools that you want to access. But
Okay.
anyway, coming back to Zoom, yes, you're absolutely right, Frank. There are two licenses. I forgot about that. The one we use is we have the plugin for our business license, which allows each and every user to select the language that they want the captions translated in. So even even when we're holding closed streams, I will usually set up the captions on a machine, screen scrape the captions, and embed them over the feed that I'm sending out to a group of people who need the captions in one specific language. So there's a lot of things you can do. It's really good. The only thing is that it is AI generated. So it starts the translation in a different language. It gets to a point where it realizes that it's got the context wrong, and then it goes back, and then it'll rewrite the sentence. It's really smart in certain ways. It's nice to watch, but it gets a little bit confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I think some of the confusion is people think that the regular captions will do the sort of, if you want to call it, on demand in the language of your choice, and there can only be one language for the meeting. That's why the host can lock it to one language, whereas the translated captions gives you each person picks their own language ability, and that costs extra money. They don't give you that for free. You either need a better license or you have to buy the add-on. And then interpretation is a whole separate thing.
That is correct.
James,
I
did that
hope
help?
I've confused you, James.
No, I think that's yeah. So you're saying there's two different licenses. So because you were talking about like the issue with that, because someone asked for that, and I said, well, it doesn't work that well. And then you guys talked last time when I was here about it being a enterprise plus plus or something like that. So then I'm like, well, maybe there is another license that I'm missing.
There's two licenses. There's Business Plus and there's Enterprise Plus, or you can buy it as a separate add-on for your account, which is called an add-on. It's called Translated Captions add-on.
Because the other thing I was kind of why it was bouncing back to me was the idea that you could have this multiple screen sharing, and those multiple screens could have different languages in them, which is a different way of providing that.
Yeah.
Out.
Well, maybe I haven't tried this. Robert probably knows the most. With this new screen sharing ability with tabs, you could have your PowerPoint be in the language of your choice. And then if you had translated captions, then you could also have the captions be in the language of your choice. And then the next stage is to have the human interpreter, where you can hear the person re-speaking whatever the main language of the meeting is and hear the language of your choice. So you really, it's starting to be, if you have the money and the next knowledge or expertise, you can pretty much cover everything now. You get the visual slides, you get the captions, and then you can hear it with your ears in the language of your choice as well. So like Zoom's pretty much figured all that out, whether or not you agree with their accuracy, and if it's really like captions is a very specific term in my industry. Captions have to be 99.8% accurate. If they aren't, they're not considered caption. They're transcription. And it's not, and by law, in places where they have laws that protect people's rights about accessibility, if you don't meet that threshold, you're not meeting your the threshold to be saying that you're giving accessible.
So what are Zooms called? That's really interesting.
Machine transcription, automated transcription.
No, it says here captions.
Well, then maybe they're saying that their accuracy is above 99 point whatever percent. But generally speaking, my experience has been that most machine transcription is not accurate until a human being parses it and brings it the rest of the way.
The other little tiny difference is that a transcript is literally just what people said. When you have captions, you could look at a film. A caption will help the viewer who cannot hear to understand what's going on in the scene in the background. So gunshot, light music playing in brackets. There's all additional information that comes through for people who have hearing.
Jason is saying that the button is called captions, but the file is called transcript. But I thought I also think those are two different things. I don't think
they are two different.
It's a complicated. There's open captions, closed captions,
right.
Subtitles, machine transcription captions. They all seem similar, but they have very specific legal ramifications and technical specifications.
And what Robert was talking about, where you would have, music in the background, or all of a sudden car goes by, you would see that more in subtitles, like you would see in movie, and those are usually in the SRT files. Going a little techie there, but but those again are more. That would be more on the higher end capabilities of captions.
And just coming back to Zoom, one thing that needs to be said, and this is the point that I made about 2 months ago, the translated captions do not go through to the stream.
Yeah, that's a shortcoming that should be addressed. The other thing, and Robert, please correct me if I get this wrong, the icon, I think, for translated captions is sort of a globe. So is that right? The globe is the icon when you see it's sort of a stylized world with lines through it. I think that means it indicates like you're talking to the world now. So that's multiple languages or something.
It's used. I don't know if it's a worldwide standard, to be very honest with you.
No, just for Zoom. Just for Zoom.
No, in Zoom you've got the globus, which is which is interpretation. Then you've got CC, which are closed captions.
Yeah.
And CC is what shows up at the bottom of the Zoom window
because you don't have translated captions.
Right.
Or is it for interpretation? I always get it confused.
The interpretation is the little globe.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, Frank, you had mentioned before about multi-sharing from one person. So here I've got my share window open. If I click on this and shift, I can share these three things. I'm curious what it's going to look like. So it's sharing them all in one share.
All at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, in one tab. Let me try, because those are small. So I'm going to try, I'll just try my 3 desktops. Oh, it only lets me do 2 desktops. Interesting. Can only do 2 desktops. All right, so I'll do these 2. Let's see what happens now. And they're side by side again. It treats it almost like an ultra wide monitor. But yes, you can multi-share.
But one of the things that a lot of people don't know about when you're sharing is that if you are sharing, you can start a new share immediately without stopping the old share. David,
Is
I
that
don't know if
new
you
share? Is that what that is?
you know when you let me just share something. Okay, I'm going to share. And now I don't know how to do this, show you what I'm doing, but I can go back and say a new share and choose something else, and it'll immediately let me see
Right.
if I can, it'll immediately switch over to this new share,
Yep.
which is really good. A lot of people don't know this, and they'll come out of their share and they'll go back in, they open it, and then they have the problems of which monitor am I on, etc., etc. And this is really clean.
I find the whole screen sharing thing interesting because and it's my fault. It's my problem because because of my setup, I have multiple screens. And so I'm sure that Zoom built this for if you're on one screen, if you're just sitting at your laptop. And so that's why they had everything kind of jump out of the way and disappear, and then so that you can see what you're sharing, and then you just have that little toolbar at the top. For me, it's incredibly disorienting when that happens, when everything kind of moves but again, I think I'm a strange use case.
You know,
It is. Yeah, carry on, Frank.
Oh my goodness, here comes Leo Mendel.
I was just gonna say, sorry, we are very, very meeting centric here from a computer, but there are a lot of people doing these things from iPads and tablets and things. And the Zoom client on iOS and Android and other places is very different and has less features. Um, Although I think they tried to address that in the latest release, they've added some parity, but it'd be very interesting for all of us to join a Zoom test kitchen from a tablet and try and I bet you it would be chaos.
We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. Yeah.
David, where would you get your stream decks from?
I'd have no control over anything. Yeah, you're right. I will say that one of the things that I like about doing it every once in a while, when I'm driving home, I'll just be in listening mode or not watching because I'm driving, but I like they changed the layout. So now it's not if you scroll to the right, you get the active speaker or the spotlight. If you scroll to the left, and you can scroll through the people, or you can, I don't know, they've done some nice work with it. I haven't been on it in a while. Leo Mindell, how are you, sir? And how is it so bright where you are? Isn't it like 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night.
And it's still sunny outside or bright outside?
Yeah,
Wow.
it is the 21st of June.
Oh, today's the longest day, isn't it? It's the summer
It is.
solstice. Well, there you go. How are you, sir?
Yeah, we don't go dark here till 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that. And then light again at 4 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
How are
Yeah,
you?
it's good. Oh, very well, apart from my UPS just blew out. So my picture may only be here for a few minutes
That's
before my
interesting
camera
that you're-
drops.
So I literally just put in a UPS 2 days ago. My first
Yeah,
UPS.
it's first time. First time in the battery's gone, I think, and it's been running 5 years, 4 years. It's
Wow.
at least 4 years, that UPS.
A UPS, for people who may not know, is an uninterruptible power supply. It's basically a surge protector with a battery in it. So I just got one, and I unplugged everything and plugged not everything, but a lot of my core stuff into it, so that because we have a lot of brownouts and blackouts here, and power going on and off. So this way,
Well, that's my spare one that I'm just about to get a battery for it, so that I can then replace the one that's just, the batteries are so cheap anyway.
nice. I got mine from Costco. It's like $100 something. It was pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
about that much.
Yeah, APC, the guys that do Leo's or that Leo's using there, they suggest every 3 years to replace the batteries.
UPS.
David,
Thank you.
and if you've got a new UPS, just keep one thing in mind. If you've connected all of your computers, connect to your router, because that's what people usually forget
Yeah.
about. They get disconnected from the internet and the power goes off.
So I got a Cyber Power 1500 volt or VA. What is, I don't know what VA means.
VA.
And then
That's the usage.
900 watts.
Voltage amps is the VA, and then your watts is the 900 watts. So again, you do have, that would be a full US circuit, meaning that's
This is the one I have.
right. And I was very specific saying US.
Yeah.
Again, of course, Frank's laughing at me because yes, we in Canada we use quote unquote US plug, even though officially, we're like, why is it US plug? Even though, yeah, but that's a long story for a different day. But yeah, so officially that is, so David, easily you could plug in a full 15 amp.
So
in
I
that.
did my studio, my Mac studio. I did one monitor. I did one light, I think. Did I do one light? Maybe not. I did my Rodecaster Pro. And I think I did one Stream Deck because No. You know what I did? Sorry. My Stream Decks are all plugged into a hub. Sorry. I did the hubs. I plugged my hubs in so that I would have all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So basically, in my studio, everything is plugged into, and I've got the APC equivalent of yours, and everything's plugged into it. All my cameras.
APC?
Yeah. American Power Corporation.
APC UPS. Oh, I see. Oh, that's the one that you were just holding up, the flat one. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Right.
And Leo, FYI, that
APC.
and, yeah, and
APC
officially we're
is
seeing. Yeah, your video is officially
gone.
mirrored and gone. Yeah.
Yeah, my camera. I'm gonna have to.
All right. Well, while he's doing that,
my Lumix camera is on. It's only got. My Lumix camera has only got a limited amount of battery.
it's actually a nice. It's a nice shot, though.
Yeah, but the camera has. I've got to change the settings, and whenever it dies, it's onboard tiny battery goes, so I have to reset the settings. So I just noticed everything's back to front.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're mirrored right now.
But that's strange. Usually the mirroring only happens on your end.
Yeah,
Not on what you
that's
send out.
interesting.
That's
Hold on,
interesting.
see if this is.
All right. Now it's flipped.
Now it's flipped.
Yeah.
Do you know I've been running mirrored forever and not realised. The reason why, now I've got to mirror myself so I can actually look at the right way around. The reason I'm mirrored is on my GH3. So you're looking at my GH3. You have the LCD display on the back, and I flip it around so I can look at it to do any of the configuration setup.
And that flipped you? I don't understand.
Good reason for Leo to show up more at the.
Yeah, good reason for Leo to show up more often on the Zoom Test Kitchen.
Okay, so a GH3, a Lumix GH3, Panasonic Lumix cameras, you can pull the display out so you can look at the display.
Yeah,
when you're,
I can on my Sony too. Okay.
Yeah, but when you do it, once it goes past a certain point and it clicks to showing you, it will reverse the screen.
Really?
And it obviously reverses the HDMI out as well.
That's really interesting. That's very interesting.
The
that
question
funny?
becomes, Leo, are you on your
Am I
viewer?
real?
Yeah, no.
No, am I real? I mean, that is a question. I am in London, so there is a question. Is that real?
Very, very true. Very, very true. And we are missing John this week, or you guys would be, dealing with the UK situations. But
John, which
John,
John?
oh, I'm trying to remember John's last name.
Idelson?
Okay,
Yeah, no,
Ittleton's here.
the other-
Idelson.
Drinkwater.
yes, there you go. But yeah, so Leo, so the same view on the actual viewer on the camera is the same view coming out the HDMI.
It must be. It must be, and it probably is the same on your Sony, David. It does make sense.
Because mine
doesn't
is
it?
open.
Is
I
it
have my
open
screen-
facing me or open
No, it's
facing
facing
you?
me. I'm looking at it.
Okay. Okay. Now flip it. Now twist it through its.
I'm not
90
touching
degree.
anything. Everything works.
This is the Zoom test kitchen. This is
I
where
don't
we
care.
destroy things.
I'm not touching anything. Speaking of how we look, by the way, another change that Zoom gifted us is oh, that's not you. That's not me. Hold on, press the wrong button. Sorry. Don't get me wrong, Robert. I love you, but they moved some stuff in settings. So now, if you go into video, it says trying to touch up your appearance or adjust for low light. Those settings have moved to background and effects. So you still got your HD here and your camera choice and this other stuff down here. But now if you go to background and effects, which is this guy over here, now all these tabs are here. So you've got video, and this is where mirror, touch up my appearance, adjust for low lighting, portrait lighting. Oh, and this is just, it's all one page. It's just with, what are those called? Anchors. So video, virtual backgrounds are here, avatars underneath that, video filters underneath that, and then studio effects underneath that. So that has all moved. Do you think anyone actually uses the studio effects?
When we're being goofy.
Yes, when we're,
You must use them, David, because you've got hundreds loaded. Mine are all empty.
no, that you're talking about the video filters. Is that what you're talking about? Wait, hold on.
Filters and everything
Is this
else.
what you're talking about? So I have, no, these all just came. I didn't do anything with these. These all came. I uploaded I have a couple. I've got this, which is like a framer, and then I've got just a little, whatever the heck that is, a bug. Oh, and then I've got this thing that I made. But the rest of these, I didn't put them there. They just all showed up. I don't know where they came from.
I don't work for Zoom, so I can't speak for Zoom, but I feel like some of you remember the avatars as well were pretty cartoony. At the beginning of the pandemic, I thought maybe some of this stuff was to keep kids interested who were in elementary school or
Right.
something, because I couldn't see a professional using any of this in a business meeting.
Hey, wait, where did the really good avatars go? Didn't they have? Am I crazy? Didn't they have? Like,
Oh yeah, there was another one where you can make your own avatar.
Yeah,
and
where's
it was
that?
different.
Turn on my avatar when I join a meeting, but I don't want to turn on my. Where's my avatar? Oh, because I'm logged. Here it is. Okay, sorry, I'm not on my personal account. I'm on the Zoom Test Kitchen account. That's what it is. Okay, that's where you do that. I do not want my avatar turned on when I. They're still. I mean, it's still cartoony. There's no doubt about it. I wish they could take a picture of you.
And I don't know, like, in terms of like education, I know like you're not supposed to record your students and then show it out again. But like if you change your students to avatars, so then it's not them, then I don't know.
I'm
But
really
no one-
hoping I'm really hoping you forget to turn that filter off and go to lots of meetings with those eyebrows.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I completely didn't even see that. Wait,
Some of those filters.
wait, I didn't even
The
see
one that
that.
catches me, the one that catches me out all the time, is the Mac filters, the Mac bits where you put them on. That catches me.
That's a little weird. Look at how it moves with, like, that's wild. So this is off. That is seriously wild how it, I mean, that's pretty good. Look at that. That is pretty good.
We can't see what you're doing, David.
Why can't you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I can
No,
see it.
you can. So
Oh
I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
you
It's just so
okay, watch
very
my
subtle.
eyes. Watch here, ready?
It's very subtle.
Okay, now it's plain. Now there's nothing.
Yeah,
You're very pretty.
yeah.
I told you play with these
I mean,
things.
but
That's why you've
that's-
got them all loaded, David.
I see. And then when you put your finger, you can see it. It's a, but that's really, I mean, that's good. That's not good as in it doesn't look good, but look at that. Holy moly. I mean, it's like finding the right, it knows where to put everything.
It's like you've got two trained caterpillars on your head
Yeah.
or something.
But I'm sure you've discussed it. The ones that the ones that caught me is the ones on that Apple put into their camera.
Look at this. Look how it moves. I mean, that's really, that's wild.
It must be ratings week for your Zoom Test Kitchen or something.
No, how it's like stuck. It's stuck to my face. That's fantastic. Wow. Thank you for saying something, Frank, because I, honest to God, completely didn't even see that. I would have showed up to all.
Frank, you had to spoil the fun.
I know.
I wanted to hear the story next week. David comes on and goes, I was at this meeting.
I'd like to
People
welcome
are
you all
wondering.
to Sabbath services with my eyebrows. Oh my gosh. All right. What else? What else? All right. The visual effects. We talked about that. Then there was a bunch of stuff for in webinar, in which I still haven't used yet, but in Backstage you can now view the main stage. That's nice.
I didn't quite get the scheduling part. You see more options when scheduling. And maybe I don't know. I'm on the scheduling page for webinars on my other computer here. And
Scheduler got updates, and so did Whiteboard got some love too.
And can I throw one thing out there that maybe just, I did have one person who has a Mac, one of those M1 Macs, MAX, you know, that, so I don't know which PowerBook or whatever it is. And with the
PowerBook. What?
or whatever they're called.
PowerBooks are like from the 80s. What in the 90s? PowerBooks.
I haven't caught up yet. Sorry.
Motorola chips.
But anyways, he's got an M1 Mac, he's got an M3 Mac, and with the update, it crashes with the M1 Mac. And I don't have that.
I'm on an M1. I'm on two M1s right now, actually, in Zoom.
Right. And so, I mean, I don't think I'm pretty sure that Zoom does extensive tests on this. But the weird thing about this person is he's the kind of person that installs Homebrew and all the extra stuff because he's like a power network person. So he's got all that kind of stuff. Can you think of what would make that crash? Would Mac ports,
The installation may not have installed correctly. There might be some corrupted files. The Zoom client has an uninstaller built into it.
Yep, that's what I told him to do.
I would uninstall it and reinstall it and see if that fixes it.
Where is the uninstaller? How do you do that?
It's in the menu.
It's in the Zoom menu at the top by your Apple menu, Zoom Workplace.
Uninstall Zoom Workplace. I
Uninstall
see
Zoom
it.
Workplace.
Yeah. Just for people looking, you go up here, menu bar, Zoom Workplace, and
since we're talking about that, Windows, if you uninstall it the traditional way, might leave some files behind, and quite often those files can be corrupted, and your next installation, they'll corrupt your next installation. Zoom has a product called Zoom
Clean.
Cleaner, and that will remove every trace of Zoom. So if you do have any corrupted files, that's usually the best way to start over.
Called Zoom what? Oh, Zoom Cleaner.
Zoom Cleaner,
I don't-
and you download it from Zoom. It's Zoom Cleaner exe.
I don't think this is.
And when you go to their
Is that?
no, I would.
Am I
would
supposed to
not,
pour this on my computer?
No, I would
Is that
not
what-
trust that
Is that
whatsoever.
what I do?
Oh,
Really?
that's
I'm going to disappear. I've got to disappear.
Bye, Leo.
Guys, I'll see you soon. I'm going to try and pop in some more.
Good luck with your
Definitely do
power.
so.
See you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, just to finish that thought, I wouldn't download Zoom Cleaner from anywhere but Zoom.
This doesn't look like a download though.
No, that looks like a product you wash your car with or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Zoom.
So there's
But
a.
if-
You're saying
if
that
you-
there's a Zoom Cleaner available on Zoom.
if you just do uninstall Zoom, and you get to their KB, it has that program on the.
Or if
it's
you go to
called
Zoom
Clean
downloads.
It's called Clean Zoom.
Sorry. Yeah,
No,
I
no.
don't. But Zoom downloads has all of these things.
To remove here, I just here we go. To remove Zoom completely, run and download and run Clean Zoom. I clicked on download. I'm not going to actually open it because I don't know what this is, but I wonder where you'd find this on the Zoom site.
Zoom downloads.
Zoom downloads.
You may not see it because it might be detecting you as a Mac, but yes, if you're
Wait a
on
second.
Windows, you can see it.
So, wait. This is not a. It's not a Mac app too. It's just for Windows.
No, it's just for Windows.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. Okay.
The Zoom uninstaller that's built into the Mac client achieves everything you need.
It's the same.
On
Gotcha.
Windows, it may not. The Zoom install process on Windows may leave some residual files behind. If they're the files that are corrupted and you install over them, you may have the same problem appear in your new installation and never get rid of it. By using Clean Zoom, it gets rid of all of the cache files, and I don't know what the on Mac it's a plist file. I can't remember what it's called on a
Yeah,
Windows file, but
on Windows, it would be registry based.
registry. Yeah, thanks.
Registry based stuff, which can get corrupted. It could be related to any specific, again, the way that Windows has each user has its own Zoom configuration built into that user account on Windows. So it would have to actually go into, if it's it depends on if it's a global setting in Windows that they're doing when they install, or if it's a per user setting. So they would have to go through all and then go through each user and actually delete all the config related stuff.
Doesn't hurt to reboot too when you install new software.
Never hurts to reboot.
Yeah.
Never,
No matter
never.
the operating system.
Yep. I've lost my mouse. I'm trying to get back to the. There we go. To the notes, and I lost them. Zoom.
Yeah, when you're going to show the notes, David, don't forget for YouTube to spotlight.
Yeah, I can't even find them anymore. Hold on a second. July. Oh, release notes for July 2nd.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wait a second. We're on the 17th, right?
We are the
Apparently-
21st.
There's notes for the
Oh.
20th. That was for Zoom Accelerator and Zoom Quality Management. On the 23rd, we've got notes for Zoom Whiteboard. This is what's coming up for Whiteboard. Oh, let's look at this real quick. Let's see. Ability to easily reopen Whiteboard during a meeting. I didn't know it wasn't easy to do that. Okay. Enhancements to tag objects on Canvas. Say, create and assign tags to objects like sticky notes on and cards on the canvas. Tags are accessible to all the editors and above at the board level. Okay. My saved shape collections. Ooh. Users with a Whiteboard Plus license, I didn't even know there was a Whiteboard Plus license, can save custom shapes and objects they create to a personal content library in Zoom Whiteboard. Huh. Flowcharting and diagramming. Precision diamond shape has been added. Okay. Swim lane? What? Users can add a swim lane component to the canvas for creating flowchart diagrams. I must not know enough about flowchart diagrams to understand what that means.
Yeah, they're just in your template of ones. They now have a swim lane type.
No, it looks here like, well, is this when you move the thing on the swim lane, the whole canvas moves? I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
I think it's just saying that there's now a swim lane template.
Oh, okay. Wow, there's a lot of stuff coming. Whiteboard storage capacity, mouse wheel support for canvas navigation. That's nice. Wow, okay, so that's coming on, when is that? Did that already come out? That's
Monday?
for,
Monday.
yeah, Monday, sorry. Monday, and then, if that wasn't enough, that's the 23rd. Let's see what's happening on the 24th. Zoom for Lightning Salesforce app. Zoom Scheduler.
You had Zoom Scheduler for a while, right?
I still have it. I just
Oh,
don't ever
okay.
use it.
So we got some love.
I don't use it. Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm comfortable where I am. There isn't yet, because there's a Zoom plugin for Calendly, or however you want it. There's Zoom
Yeah, but I mean,
integration.
if Zoom really wants to embrace this whole concept of being an ecosystem, all of the other areas have to improve, right?
Right.
If you want to put Calendly out of business, if you want to put Google Docs out of business, or at least be competitive, then they have to keep making these things more mature.
What happened to Zoom Docs?
Don't know. Did they promise us Zoom Docs?
Well, that was part of Zoom Workplace.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe it's not time yet.
So coming on the 2nd, you can reserve rooms through Google Calendar integration.
That's huge.
That's nice. That's really nice, actually.
Have you used the Zoom Workplace reservation?
No,
Oh, okay.
because I don't have a
Enterprise license.
well, I don't have that, but I also don't have a Zoom room. I mean, can you talk about what the
Yeah,
use
a
case
little
for
bit.
that?
So as part of getting a Zoom room, you also get the Zoom room license. You can use it for Zoom rooms, which is special software that generally is deployed in professional spaces for video conferencing. And that allows you to interface with protocols and commercial AV equipment. So Crestrons and AMXs and all the other languages and audio DSPs and projectors, all that stuff, right? So you can make the room automated. But with a Zoom room license, you also get this other Zoom booking tool. So you can book these Zoom rooms, but as extended functionality, you know how lots of businesses and governments are hoteling and hot desking? It allows you to set up a whole system for that, where you can say on the 3rd of March, I'm coming to Florida, to Miami, and I'm going to be in our corporate building there, and I want to be on the 3rd floor, desk number 7. And it's got QR codes and all this other stuff. So if you have a big campus, or you have a big building, or you have multiple buildings and multiple campuses, it allows verified users to book locations. It could be Zoom rooms, but it could be desks or other kinds of things too. And then that also integrates with other technology, like, when you have display panels outside of rooms that say this room's booked for the next hour by group X, and at 2:30 group Y is coming in and there's a free space. So there's a calendar component online to that, as well as showing you in the physical space on a display screen.
And the Google integration, since most people are not using Zoom Calendar, but they're using either Google or Microsoft Office or something like that, having that built into Google is really nice.
Related to Zoom Docs, Z-Span, aka Ray,
Hi, Ray.
Howard on YouTube is letting us know that was promised at Zoomtopia 2024.
Yeah. So they have some time. It's not the end of the world yet.
So almost Q3, right?
Yeah. And also that he said a swim lane is just another column in a flowchart. Thank you. I have not used flowcharts recently.
I'm going to pick on Apple for a second. Lots of times Apple says things at like the Worldwide Developers Conference that, there'll be new hardware, whatever, new Zoom Pro, Mac Pros or something, and they announce them in December. And they meet their commitment, but at the very last possible minute of that year. So maybe Zoom will do something similar.
Right. Zoomtopia is in November?
October 9th, I think, but
October?
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Ray's also reminding us that Zoom Rooms also includes digital signage.
Yeah. What I hope for and you alluded to this, Frank, with schedulers is I hope that they're taking this extra time with docs to give it something that other people don't have, so that there is a reason to jump over,
I'm wondering, like, the document part of it's one thing. The structure in the Zoom cloud, like, are they going to have Zoom folders? Are they going to, like, how, like their online storage was mostly, it seemed to be for holding your recordings at the beginning. And then it seems like Zoom went, why don't we leverage, we have all this infrastructure, web servers, cloud-based storage. Why don't we allow people like to save their transcripts and their AI summaries, and all of that stuff counts against your storage
and their notes.
and your notes. And then if they ever do have Zoom docs, you start creating a lot of Zoom docs, then that'll probably count against your storage as well. And for some people, that'll trigger higher prices, right?
Hi, Ray.
Hi.
Have any of you?
I wanted to point out that the error in my YouTube comment, it was announced at Zoomtopia 2023 that it would be coming sometime early this year. And early this year is about to be beyond us.
Yeah.
What about
again-
double enders? When did they say that would be out?
Oh, that was
Well-
before 2023. That was yeah. That was
Isn't
before.
early anything before third quarter? Or after third quarter? Or,
Well, and Zoom's fiscal year ends at the end of January, so that means that we've still got another, week and a month into the second quarter. So yeah.
I just clicked on, because you were talking about, I just clicked on notes, because I've really never used it.
I use them all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I feel like I need a quicker way to get to it. Like there's I know if I click on notes, it takes me into my list of notes. I don't know. I feel like if I'm
And there's an add button. There's an add button right at the top of that while
Yeah,
you're
no,
in a meeting that immediately creates the notes for that meeting. And that's what I use it for.
Wait. Where? What? Who? What?
When you click on notes inside a meeting,
Yeah. So
Do you-
that's
do you have the
that's what
notes
I have
menu?
here. Yeah.
there's a blue new button at the
Yeah.
top of that, and as soon as you click that, you get a
No, that I know. But I guess what I'm wondering is if I want to jot down some quick notes, I want a button to press on the menu bar that just opens a new note.
Yeah.
Just a thought. You use these all the time, huh?
I do when I have sort of an ad hoc meeting and I just want to, I'm talking with somebody and you know, I don't want to grab one of my, you know, I've got a little thing up here with a bunch of note cards. I don't want to grab my note cards and waste paper and ink and all that sort of stuff. And I just want to type some stuff that I eventually end up copying and pasting into my CRM system based on whoever it was I was talking to, sort of a thing. But I just need a place to go to type some notes during a meeting.
How do you find the management of notes in Zoom?
Well, I was just about to mention Zoom Community Champions and Zoom Premier customers have an opportunity to contribute in a special way to the feature requests. And one of the feature requests that I put in is to reduce the toggle tax that Zoom actually imposes on us while they're saying no new taxes. We're trying to like not have you track back and forth. And what I want to be able to do is click in my calendar for a meeting that I had yesterday or last week and be able to get to directly to the recording, the notes, a whiteboard, anything ought to be accessible right from that little panel that I click. I don't want to restart the meeting, but I want to get to all the other assets that emanated from that meeting. And no, Zoom requires you to go click over to notes in order to get to that. Click over to whiteboard in order to get to that. And I just I think if they really mean what they say, no new toggle taxes, um, they're not there yet.
Right. Workspace implies I can go into a space and everything that I need will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to having to jump around. Yep.
And maybe it doesn't have to be in the calendar, which I didn't originally like the kind of the one panel calendar, but I do like this multiple look at the whole week and be able to see, and you click on something, the start button comes right up, and I'm liking the way that that works, but I think there's more stuff that they can integrate into that to make it really the central place that I go to. Where's the meeting summary? Well, the meeting summary is posted into the continuous meeting chat if you happen to enable that. But I want the meeting summary to be there. I want everything from the meeting to be in one place. But that's just me and Zoom. Oh wait.
Yeah. Well,
David, did
anything
we go
else?
through all the different 6.1
Yeah, pretty much.
things?
Pretty much. Let me go back just to make sure. 6 dot, today's the 17th, right? 6 dot, yeah, here it is. Multi-share we talked about. There's some auto connect to audio using Wi-Fi. Yeah. There's we talked, I mentioned, brought up last week, this don't show this again option for meeting disclaimer prompts. That's only for internal meetings, so only for people that are
Well,
part of your org.
it's for right. It's for internal attendees, not external attendees.
Right.
It's for any meeting, but only for the internal guys.
Folks that are in your org, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My org changes by about 6,000 or 7,000 people a year, so I have some concerns about enabling this. It's going to take some debate.
Well, what I wonder is, should there perchance be a way for you as an admin to clear all of that at the beginning of a new semester and say, everyone needs to do it one more time? I mean, all your, executives then will have to do it again. Didn't I do this last year? Yeah, but you didn't have to do it in every meeting since then. And then you get everybody kind of at the beginning of the semester or
Zoom
whatever.
has that functionality in custom disclaimers. You can set the frequency to the first time you log in, every meeting, every
Oh.
time. You can set it to every quarter or
right, but custom disclaimers are on you. These
No.
disclaimers are on Zoom.
They also, yeah. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is they've already sort of architected that
Yeah.
sort of scenario. They just need to apply it to other parts of the tool.
Cool.
There's a bunch of mobile stuff here for chat. Some mail and calendar stuff. Support for Zoom clips. Oh my. Zoom clips is coming to mobile. Wow. Zoom clips is now available for Linux, Android, and iOS. How? Users can conveniently access their clips through their client or web portal and receive notifications. Well, wait a second. I'll check my client.
While you're doing that,
Yeah.
one of the things that Zoom Clips has that the rest of the tool doesn't have is the recording layouts. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Sorry.
No, it's just it's a point of pain for me. I'm waiting for Zoom to address this.
What layouts? What do you mean?
So in Zoom Clips you have the layouts. So you can
Right.
So screen sharing also has that in Zoom. You can have the layouts, picture in picture, side by side, over your shoulder, or just the content. But it doesn't record it that way. So during the meeting you see it that way, but the finished recording does
In
not
meetings.
in meetings does not.
And in streaming also, I believe.
And I really want them to make the recording be the way it was during the meeting.
Yeah.
And so far, haven't heard a peep about that.
Yeah. There are a few of those things that don't. Jason's asking if local record doesn't capture this. I don't think it does. It maybe. I don't think it does.
It doesn't follow whatever you set. There are recordings both in local and in cloud that will do screen share and screen share plus the inlaid person or the person outside of the thing consistently, but it doesn't change with you like you can in clips. You can go, now I want to talk, and now I want to be down in the corner while I'm showing the screen, and now my picture's in the way. Get rid of that. You can change that.
Does it even do the down in the corner thing, or is it still? I think it's still just screen share with you up in the top corner in your little box.
Well, Clips does it, but you're right. The recording doesn't. The recordings,
yeah,
and that's why you get clips and get it the way you want it.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's clips is entirely different. I mean, it's not a meeting. It's
Yeah, if I'm in a meeting and I'm presenting and I pick the over my shoulder for my content, I want my recording to look that way too for people who
right.
didn't attend the meeting, right?
I'll just quickly bring this up so folks can see. So this is whoops. So this is the screen share right here. And over here on the right hand side, you've got these are the different options, and you can actually see it if I kind of pop this out. Oh, it's not going to work because I'm doing it this way, but this one is where you're kind of they key you out, so they green screen you out. This is where it's over the shoulder, and this is sort of a side by side. But the only one that's recorded is this one with you as the speaker up in the top corner, as we usually are. So, yeah. All right, friends. Well, I've reached my time to get in the car and start going home. If there aren't other things, then I say we all thank the chefs that are here in the kitchen, and
my compliments to the chef.
Compliments to this. That's how that's the new law. That's the new sign off every week. Compliments to the chef, and don't forget your time flux capacitor.
Go Edmonton.
I was going to say, don't forget to turn your eyebrows off, everyone.
And don't forget to turn your eyebrows off.
Go Edmonton. Go Edmonton.
Is that hockey?
We're in a contest to the end with you, Florida people.
Oh, it's us against you?
Yes. Well,
Go!
us against
Certainly
Edmonton.
is.
Bruins. I don't even know the name of our team. What's the name of our team? Are we the Bruins?
Wow.
We're not the Red Sox, are we? Who are we?
Oh, he's still in Boston. He's staying in Boston. Keep going, Dave.
All I know are the names of the Boston teams. I have no idea what they actually play. I know there's the Red Sox, there's the Patriots, there's the Bruins. I honest to God, I have no idea what.
I believe it's the Florida Mans or something.
The Panthers. Wait, no, it's the Panthers, isn't
I
it?
went. "Rah."
Oh, is it? Were you giving me a hint?
Yes.
Florida.
Yes. And you're definitely making Jason move out of that state. He's no longer going to be in Boston anymore.
Sorry.
I bet you 4 Quatloos.
Oh,
against-
wow. Look at that. The Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. 3-2 against 2-3. So when's the big game?
Tonight.
Tonight.
Like-
Oh my goodness. This is exciting. I'm not going to watch it.
When's the last time you watched a hockey game?
Never. I
You've
have
never watched a
literally
hockey game?
Never in
Wow.
my life watched a hockey game.
What's your sport of choice? The Olympics are this year.
Zoom. I don't. I watch gymnastics every once. I'm not a sports guy. I'm not.
That's fine.
Yeah, not a sports guy, but I fully appreciate the skill, but watching it isn't my thing. Basketball I'll watch sometimes, and football. Like I get you know what? Maybe I'll watch tonight because someone's going to win. Like if someone's going to win and it's going to be exciting, then I'll watch. But hockey's so violent.
What?
When they bang into each other into the wall and stuff, don't they?
Ever watch basketball? It's pretty violent.
Beat each other over the head with the sticks.
Football's violent.
Everything's violent. You know what's not
Football's based
violent?
on tackling people to the ground. So.
Yeah. You know what's not violent? The Zoom test kitchen. Bye, everybody.